vaginas suddenly fill the sky. Yes, big vaginas suddenly fill the sky. They are big vagina spaceships from an alien civilization. And then zillions and zillions of Alice in Wonderland clones begin flying out of all the big vaginas in the sky. And all of the Alice in Wonderland clones are flying on big dragonflies. Woohoo, yeah. So there's zillions and zillions of Alice in Wonderland clones flying on big vaginas in the sky. When suddenly, giant erections jump out from underneath the dresses of all the Alice in Wonderland clones. And some of the Alice in Wonderland clones are Republicans. And some of the Alice in Wonderland clones are Democrats. And so the Republican Alice in Wonderland clones begin ejaculating conservative Republican politics all over America. And the Democratic Alice in Wonderland clones, they begin ejaculating liberal Democratic politics all over America. And then all of the leaves on the trees, suddenly become anuses. So now there's all these anuses growing out of the trees, and all of the anuses growing out of the trees begin to sing country western music. And as all of the anuses growing out of the trees are singing country western music, there's thousands and thousands of giant 6-foot penises with legs dancing down the streets. And all of the 6-foot penises with legs are wearing cowboy boots and cowboy hats, and that 6-foot penises are dancing down the streets. And then a bird flying in the sky shits Wolf Larsen out of his butthole. And now Wolf Larsen is falling through the sky. I'm falling through the sky! And Wolf Larsen crashes through the roof. Wolf Larsen lands on the stage, and Wolf Larsen says, "Hey, I'm sorry I can't give you my fellow comedians the clap today because I've got carpal tunnel. But I do have herpes. Does anybody in the audience want herpes?" And then somebody in the audience says, "Well, I've got syphilis. Does anybody want syphilis? I've got some syphilis to share." And somebody else says, "I've got gonorrhea to share." And then Donald Trump walks into the door, and Donald Trump says, "I've got syphilis, gonorrhea, and herpes. Let's have a sexually transmitted disease party. Yippee!" So now everybody is having a sexually transmitted disease party with the President of the United States of America. And then, while we're all having a sexually transmitted disease party with the President of the United States of America, who walks into the door but Bernie Sanders? And Bernie Sanders says, "I'll have you all know that as a congressman, I voted for war over and over again. That's right, I voted for war and more war and more war. And I also voted for the biggest prison building campaign in American history. That was under Bill Clinton. And that's what Bernie Sanders says. And then Bernie Sanders, he lowers his pants, he lowers his underwear to reveal the biggest vagina you've ever seen. That's right, Bernie Sanders has this huge vagina between his legs. It's a big black hole, Bernie Sanders' vagina in the middle of the universe. And the big Bernie Sanders black hole vagina swallows up everybody on the planet Earth. The big Bernie Sanders black hole vagina swallows up all the space aliens throughout the universe. And all of the Earthlings and extraterrestrials in Bernie Sanders' big vagina all live happily ever after. Isn't that sweet? Sing do, hey, bapa doom you bapa. Sing bapa boobity bapa, biggle bop, and din did boom. And this is my book on Amazon.com. I've got over 30 books on Amazon.com. Barnes and Noble as well. All kinds of, this is the exclamation point. It's a run-on sentence. I came up with the idea of a run-on sentence while I was in a coffee shop back in Amsterdam in the 1990s. And then I wrote the exclamation point run-on sentence in Harlem, New York City. And